Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. From Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, we're on chapter 16, text 11. Mandaro Meru Mandara Supashva Kumuda Eti Ayuta Yojana.
Mandaro Meru Mandara Suparshava Kumudo iti Ayuj Yojana.
Vistaro Naha Meru Chaturdisham Avashtamba Giraya Upaklipta.
Vistara Uttraha Meru Chatu Disham Avashtambha Girayo Upklaktava.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. On the four sides of the great mountain known as Sumeru are four mountains: Mandar, Meru Mandar, Suparshva, and Kumud, which are like its belts. The length and height of these mountains are calculated to be 10,000 yojanas, 80,000 miles. We've been hearing the description of Jambūdvīpa by Sukadeva Goswami, and he's saying that it's impossible for anyone to describe it perfectly because after all, it is always expanding. This material creation is a creation of the Supreme Lord, and even if one has a life as long as Lord Brahma's, one cannot perfectly describe this structure of the universe. Chaturshva eteshu chita jambu kadamba nyagrodas chatvara padapa.
Chaturshu eteshu chu jambu kadamba nyagrodha chatvar padapa pravara.
Pravara parvat ketav evadhi sahasra yojano nahastavat.
Pravara parvat ketavah iva adhi sahastra yojan uttrahatavat.
Vittataya shata yojana parinaha.
Vitappa vitataya shatyojan parinaha.
Standing like flagstaffs on the summits of these four mountains are a mango tree, a rose apple tree, a kadamba tree, and a banyan tree. Those trees are calculated to have a width of 100 yojanas, 800 miles, and a height of 1,100 yojanas, 8,800 miles. The branches also spread to a radius of 1,100 yojanas. So these four mountains are there, and on top of each mountain are these trees: mango tree, rose apple tree, kadamba tree, and banyan tree. And the tree are like 800 miles wide and 8,800 miles tall. And the branches, the radius is 1,100 yojanas. So that's also like 8,800 miles. It's a huge tree. Tree wide, which is wide as 8,800 miles. Vedas Chatvara Payo Madhva Ikshuras Mishta Jalayat Upashparshina.
Hridayas chatvarpayah madhu ikshu rasamrishta jalayat uparsparshinah.
Upadev Gana Yogeshwaryani Swabhavikani Bharatarshava.
Upadev gana yog aishwaryani swabhavikani bharat rishabha.
Aryanti Devo Yanani Cha Bhavanti Chatpari Nandanam.
धारयन्ति देव उद्यानानि च भवन्ति चत्वारि नन्दनम्
चैत्ररथम वैभ्राजकम सर्वोद्भद्रम इति.
चैत्ररथं वैभार्जकं सर्वतो भद्रम् इति.
O Maharaj, rest of the Bharat dynasty. Between these four mountains are four huge lakes. The water of the first tastes just like milk, the water of the second like honey, and that of the third like sugarcane juice. The fourth lake is filled with pure water. The celestial beings, such as the Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, who are also known as demigods, enjoy the facilities of those four lakes. Consequently, they have the natural perfections of mystic yoga, such as the power to become smaller than the smallest or greater than the greatest. There are also four celestial gardens named Nandana, Chaitrarath, Vaibrajak, and Sarvatobhadra. So it seems between these four huge mountains are four huge lakes. Lake of milk, uh, the second has water, the third is honey, and the fourth is sugarcane juice. Well, the fourth is sugarcane juice, that is said. First is milk, second is honey, third is sugarcane juice, and fourth is pure water. And the heavenly beings, they enjoy in these lakes, the Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, the demigods. And they have the yoga siddhis, becoming smaller than the smallest or greater than the greatest. And there are also these four gardens over there, Nandana, Chaitrarath, Vaibhrajak, and Sarvatobhadra. So it sounds like a beautiful place. Yeshva Amar Parivradha Sahasura Lalana Lalama Yuthapataya.
येषु अमर परिव्रडा सहसुरललना ललाम यूथपतयः
Upadev Ganer Upagiyaman Mahimana Kila Viharanti.
उपदेव गणे उपगीयमान महिमान किल विहरन्ति.
The best of the demigods, along with their wives, who are like ornaments of heavenly beauty, meet together and enjoy within those gardens, while their glories are sung by lesser demigods known as Gandharvas. So Gandharvas also demigods, but their ranking is a little lower. They are the singers. They are the ones who entertain the demigods by their singing. They're very, very good singers, the Gandharvas. Like we have our own singers here in this material, on this earth planet. The demigods have the singers called Gandharvas. Mandarot Sangha Ekadash Shata Yojano Tunga Devachuta Shirasogiri.
मंदर उत्संगे एकादशयोजन उतंग देवच्युत शिरस गिरी.
Shikhar Stulani Falani Amrit Kalpani Patanti.
स्थूलानि फलानि शिखर स्थूलानि फलानि अमृत कल्पानि पतितन्ति.
On the lower slopes of Mandar mountain is a mango tree named Devachita. It is 1,100 yojanas high. Mangoes as big as mountain peaks and as sweet as nectar fall from the top of this tree for the enjoyment of the denizens of heaven. Wow, suppose it falls in someone's head. In the Vayu Puran, there is also a reference to this tree by great learned sages. Aratinam Shatani Ashtam Eka Shasti Adhikani Cha. Fal Parmanam Akyatam. Sorry. Rishibis Tatvadarshivi. So anyway, it seems these mangoes are really sweet and the demigods enjoy them. Tesham Vishiryamananam Ati Madhu Surabhi Sugandhi.
Tesham vishiryamananam ati madur surabhi sugandhi.
Bahula Aruna Rasodena Noda Nama Nadi Mandar Girishikaran.
Bahul arun ras udena arunoda nam nadi mandar giri shikrat.
Nipatanti Purve Nelavritam Upaplavayati.
Nipatanti purvena ilavratam upapalayavayati.
When all those solid fruits fall from such a height, they break, and the sweet fragrant juice within them flows out and becomes increasingly more fragrant as it mixes with other scents. That juice cascades from the mountain in waterfalls and becomes a river called Arunoda, which flows pleasantly through the eastern side of Ilavra. So it's becoming like a mango juice, a waterfall of the mango juice. So a river of mango juice. Yat upajo sanat bhavanya anucharinam punya janavadunam.
Yat upjoshanad bhavanaya anucharinam punya janvadhunam.
Avyava sparsha sugandvato dashayojanam samantad anuvash sayati.
Avayav sparsha sugandhvato dashyojanam samantat anuvasayati.
The five wives of the Yakshas act as personal maidservants to assist Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva. Because they drink the water of the river Arunoda, their bodies become fragrant. And as the air carries away that fragrance, it perfumes the entire atmosphere for 80 miles around. So the Yakshas, their wives, they are the maidservants of Bhavani, Mother Parvati. She's the wife of Lord Shiva, and they are drinking this mango nectar, and their bodies become fragrant for 80 miles.
Reading
Evam
this,
Jam.
reading
Yes,
this, I'm
Hare
just wondering that what not is there in the creation. And like sometimes you feel like a frog in the well. That how big, like just reading, at least the greatness of Krishna, definitely, but then that we have to just believe that what it's written, that wow. And then it's so beautiful, so huge, we can't imagine a pond of sugarcane in our whole life. Like we just drink a glass, that's good enough. And a pond of sugarcane, wow, like wow, milk. So milk is still okay because we know she's the sagar, it's okay, we have heard. But then the other things, oh, the numbers are huge, and how great Krishna is, right?
I know, right? Imagine,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. I'm just wondering and reading, and every number is wondering. Yeah, but it's great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Evam Jambu Falana Atyucha Nipata Vishrinanam Anasti.
एवं जम्बुफलानाम अति उच्च निपात वर्षीणानाम अनस्थित.
pranayam prayanam ibakaya nibhanam rasena jambunam nadimeru.
Prayanam ibkaya nibhanam rasena jambunam nadimeru.
Mandara shikarat ayuta yojanat avani tale nipatanti.
मंदर शिखरात अयुत योजानात अवनीतले निपतन्ति.
Dakshine natmanam yavat ilavrata upasyandayati.
दक्षिणेन आत्मानानं यावत् इलाव्रतम् उपसयन्दयन्ति.
Similarly, the fruits of the jambu tree, which are full of pulp and have very small seeds, fall from a great height and break to pieces. Those fruits are the size of elephants, and the juice gliding from them becomes a river named the Jambu Nadi. This river falls a distance of 10,000 yojanas from the summit of Meru Mandara to the southern side of Ilavrata. The floods and floods the entire land of Ilavrat with juice. So we had mango juice, mango river, and now we have a river of Jambu. And we can only imagine how much juice there might be in a fruit that is the size of an elephant, but has a very tiny seed. Naturally, the juice from the broken Jambu fruits forms waterfalls and floods the entire land of Ilavrat. That juice produces an immense quantity of gold, as will be explained in the next verses. So, fruit that gives gold. Tavad ubayor api roda sorya mritika tad rasena no vidyamana.
Sorry, tavat. Where is it? तावत् उभयोरपि रोदसायार्या मृत्या तद्रसेन अनुविद्यायामना.
Vayav arka samyoga vipakena sadamara lokabharanam jambu.
वायु अर्क संयोग विपाकेन सदा अमरलोक आभरणम जम्बू.
Nadam nama suvarnam bhavati yad uha vava vibudhadaya saha.
नदम नाम सुवर्णम भवति यद उहवा विबुधादय सह.
Yuvati bhir mukutta kataka kati sutradi abharana rupena khalu dharayanti.
युवती भी मुकुट कटकः कटिसूत्र आदि आभरण रूपेण खलु धारयन्ति.
The mud on both the banks of the Rimba Jambuna Nadi, being moistened by the flowing juice and then dried by the air and the sunshine, produces huge quantities of gold called Jambu Nara. The denizens of heaven use this gold for various kinds of ornaments. Therefore, all the inhabitants of the heavenly planets and the youthful wives are fully decorated with golden helmets, bangles, and belts, and thus they enjoy life. So they don't have to buy the gold, they don't have to see, oh, what's the price of gold per ounce. It seems they can get this gold from this river. By the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the rivers on some planets produce gold on their banks. The poor inhabitants of this earth, because of their incomplete knowledge, are captivated by a so-called Bhagavan who can produce a small quantity of gold. However, it is understood that in a higher planetary system in this material world, the mud on the banks of the Jambu Nadi mixes with Jambu juice, reacts with the sunshine in the air, and automatically produces huge quantities of gold. Thus, the men and women are decorated there by various golden ornaments, and they look very nice. Unfortunately, on earth, There is such a scarcity of gold that the governments of the world try to keep it in reserve and issue paper currency. Because that currency is not backed up by gold, the paper they distribute as money is worthless. But nevertheless, the people on earth are very proud of material advancement. In modern times, girls and ladies have ornaments made of plastic instead of gold, and plastic utensils are used instead of golden ones. Yet people are very proud of their material wealth. It's true, no? We get proud of what we have, but we are seeing here that as the age goes by, we're using plastic, we're using paper, whereas earlier people used to eat in golden utensils, even the ornaments now, we are wearing fake ornaments made of what? Prabhupada is mentioning made of plastic. So therefore, the people of this age are described as Manda Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya Hi Upadruta, Bhagavatam 1:110. In other words, they are extremely bad and slow to understand the opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There on the higher planets, God is just creating gold by juices mixing with the sand, and the sunshine is there, and then the sand is turning into gold. They have been described as Sumanda Mataya because their conceptions are so crippled that they accept a bluffer who produces a little gold to be God. Because they have no gold in their possession, they are actually poverty stricken, and therefore they are considered unfortunate. So the general situation of Kali. Sometimes these unfortunate people want to be promoted to the heavenly planets to achieve fortunate positions as described in this verse, but pure devotees of the Lord are not at all interested in such opulence. Indeed, devotees sometimes compare the color of gold to that of bright golden stool. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed devotees not to be allured by golden ornaments and beautifully decorated women. Na dhanam na jannam na sundaram. A devotee should not be allured by gold, beautiful women, or the prestige of having many followers. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore confidentially prayed, Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahaituki Tvai. My Lord, please bless me with your devotional service. I do not want anything else. A devotee may pray to be delivered from this material world. That is his only aspiration. So Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that Lord Chaitanya in his Shikshastakam prayers, he's telling the devotee, he's teaching us how to pray. He's saying, give up this attachment. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundaram. Then no aspiration to get followers or women, or for men it's women, for women it's men, or gold or opulence, but praying only for devotional service. And of course, to get out of the material world that's what the devotee is praying for, Pure devotional service begins from the liberated platform. It's not of the material world. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddha kripaya tava pad pankaja stitaduli sadarsham vichintaya. The humble devotee prays to the Lord, kindly pick me up from the material world, which is full of varieties of material opulence, and keep me under the shelter of your lotus feet. So this is the 5th verse. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam vishame bhavam buddha of the Shikshastakam, where Lord Chaitanya is praying to Lord Krishna, pick me up from this ocean of material world, this material world of birth and death. O son of Maharaj Nanda, kindly place me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. Shri Narottam Das Thakur prays, Aha Prabhu Nanda Sutta, Vrishbhanu Sutta Yuta, Karuna Karaha Eva, Narottama Das Kae, Natheli Ranga Pai. Tuma vineke acheyama. O my Lord, O son of Nanda Maharaj, now you are standing before me with your consort, the daughter of Rishabhanu, Srimati Radharani. Kindly accept me as the dust of your lotus feet. Please do not kick me away, for I have no other shelter. So Narottam Das Thakur, also following the mood of Lord Chaitanya, is singing in his bhajan. He's specifically praying to Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna in Vrindavan. Krishna and Vrindavan, who's standing together with Srimati Radharani, saying, kindly accept me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. This is what a devotee prays for, to become a particle of dust at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Similarly, Prabodhananda Saraswati indicates that the position of the demigods were decorated with golden helmets and other ornaments is no better than a phantasmagoria. Tridashapur Akash Pushpayati. A devotee is never allured by such opulences. He simply aspires to become the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. So why is the devotee, why the pure devotee is saying that the position of the demigods with their golden helmets, other ornaments is just like a phantasmagoria? Why? And why he wants to be situated as a particle of dust at the lotus feet of Krishna? Anyone? Well, because the devotee understands that the position of demigods is also temporary. That's why it's called phantasmagoria. It's temporary. Although the demigods are very powerful, very opulent, very rich, a lot of golden ornaments, a lot of powers, a lot of qualifications, but that position is temporary. It's for a short time. You have to give it up. When the karma is finished, the pious karma is finished, again we will come to the earth planet or become animal, depends where we are in our cycle of karma. So the devotee wants to be situated in his own spiritual position. He wants to revive his love for Krishna. He wants to be situated on the spiritual platform. He doesn't want anything to do with the material world. So he wants to have his relationship with Krishna, become the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord, to have a loving relationship with the Lord. You know, in the spiritual world, everything is Satchidananda. Even the dust is Satchidananda. It's spirit, it's living. It's not dead matter. In the spiritual world, everything is alive. It's conscious. So out of the humility, the devotee is saying, okay, at least let me become a particle of dust at the lotus feet of the Lord. That shows the humble attitude of the devotee. The devotee is very humble. Yastu mahakadamba supashva nirudo yastasya kotarebhyo.
Yastu mahakadamba suparshva nirodho yastasya kotirebhyo vyanishita
Viniheshrata pancha yama parina pancha madhudhara supashva.
vinishita panchayam parinaha pancha madhu dhara shupashva
Shikharat patanyo parenatmanam ilavratam anumodayanti.
chikarat patan yatyo paranatamam ila vratam amunodhya anti.
On the side of the Supashva mountain stands a big tree called Mahakadamba, which is very celebrated. From the hollows of this tree flows 5 rivers of honey. each about 5 yamas wide. This flowing honey falls incessantly from the top of Supashwa mountain and flows all around Ilavratvarsh, beginning from the western side. Thus the whole land is saturated with the pleasing fragrance. The distance between one hand and another, when one spreads both his arms, is called a vyama. So if we open both our arms, open them wide, and so this distance is called vyama. This comes to about 8 feet. Distance between one hand and another when one spreads both his arms. So that's about 8 feet, as we said. Thus, each of the rivers was about 40 feet wide, making a total of about 200 feet. And so these are the rivers of honey. Yahi upayunjana mukha nirvasito vayu samantachata yojanam anuvasayate. The air carrying the scent from the mouths of those who drink that honey perfumes the land for 100 yojanas around. So it's very fragrant. The people who are drinking the honey, they're also spreading the fragrance. 100 yojanas, because it's very fragrant, this honey. Evam kumuda nirudo ya shatvalso shatvalsho nama vatashtasya.
Evam kumuda niruto ya satvalso namavatsakasya.
Gandhebhyo nichina payodadi madhugrita guda nadu.
Skando bhayo nichana payo dadi madhu krit kuran nadi.
Ambarshayasana bharanadaya sarva eva kama duganada.
Ambar yana par anandya sharva eva kama dukta nada.
Kumudagrat patantastam uttarene lavratam upayojyanti.
Kumudagrasta pattanti stamutirena lavritmupyojayanti.
Similarly, on Kumud mountain, there is a great banyan tree which is called Shatvalsh because it has 100 main branches. From those branches come many roots from which many rivers are flowing. These rivers flow down from the top of the mountain to the northern side of Ilavratvarsha for the benefit of those who live there. Because of these flowing rivers, all the people have ample supplies of milk, yogurt, honey, clarified butter, ghee, molasses, food grains, clothes, bedding, sitting places, and ornaments. All the objects they desire are sufficiently supplied for their prosperity, and therefore they are very happy. The prosperity of humanity does not depend on a demoniac civilization that has no culture and no knowledge, but has only gigantic skyscrapers and huge automobiles always rushing down the highways. The products of nature are sufficient. When there is a profuse supply of milk, yogurt, honey, food grains, ghee, molasses, dhotis, saris, bedding, sitting places, and ornaments, the residents are actually opulent. When a profuse supply of water from the river inundates the land, all these things can be produced and there will not be scarcity. This all depends, however, on the performance of sacrifice as described in the Vedic literature. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjan yad anna sambhava yagyad bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samudbhava. All the living bodies subsist on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, sacrifice, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. These are the prescriptions given in Bhagavad Gita 3.14. If people follow these principles in full Krishna consciousness, human society will be prosperous and they will be happy both in this life and in the next. So Prabhupada is pointing out that all these inhabitants are so wealthy, they are so opulent. They have everything they need for our comfortable living. And it's not on building skyscrapers or industries, but depending on the rains, with rains. So how the rains are coming? By performing yajna. By performing yajna, there's sufficient rains, there's sufficient food grains, all the necessities of people are met. And the yajna which is prescribed for this age of Kali is Sankirtan yajna. Kali Yuga Dharma, Harinam Sankirtan. So if we can all sufficiently engage in this Harinam Sankirtan, then the whole world can be peaceful and happy. And at the end of life can go back home, back to Godhead. Yan upajusananam na kadachit api prachanam pali pali taklam.
यानुपजुषाणानां न कदाचित् पदपि प्रजानां कलिवलिपलितकलम्
Sreda Daurgandhya Charamaya Mrityushitoshna.
श्वेतादोर्जनाद्या जर्मया मृत्यु शीतोषणा
Bevar Nyopasar Gadayastapa Vishesha Bhavanti Yavad Jivam Sukham Niratishayam Eva.
वैवर्ण्योपसर्गादस्य तप विशेषा भवन्ति यवज जीवं सुखम् निरातिश्वम् एव.
The residents of the material world who enjoy the products of these flowing rivers have no wrinkles on their bodies and no gray hair. They never feel fatigue, and perspiration does not give their bodies a bad odor. They are not afflicted by old age, disease, or untimely death. They do not suffer from chilly cold or scorching heat, nor do their bodies lose their luster. They'll all live very happily, without anxieties, until death. This verse hints at the perfection of human society, even within this material world. The miserable conditions of this material world can be corrected by a sufficient supply of milk, yogurt, honey, ghee, molasses, food grains, ornaments, bedding, sitting places, and so on. This is human civilization. Ample food grains can be produced through agricultural enterprises, and profuse supplies of milk, yogurt, and ghee can be arranged through cow protection. Abundant honey can be obtained if the forests are protected. Unfortunately, in modern civilization, men are busy killing the cows that are the source of yogurt, milk, and ghee. They're cutting down all the trees that supply honey, and they're opening factories to manufacture nuts, bolts, automobiles, and wine instead of engaging in agriculture. How can the people be happy? They must suffer from all the misery of materialism. So here we are seeing that the demigods, they are enjoying so much because they have enough of natural resources. What we are thinking, that if we have more industries, more gadgets, all these artificial things, we are going to be more opulent. But actually, the real opulence is when there is enough food grains, milk, yogurt, honey, ghee, molasses, ornaments, bedding, sitting places, all so on. So if we can cultivate the land, protect the cows, protect the forests, and this way human society can live peacefully. So, and what we are doing, we are suffering all the misery of materialism. We are creating pollution, we are creating environmental hazards, global warming. So what's happening? Their bodies become wrinkled and gradually deteriorate until they become almost like dwarfs. And a bad odor emanates from their bodies because of unclean perspiration, resulting from eating all kinds of nasty things. This is not human civilization. If people actually want happiness in this life and want to prepare for the best in the next life, they must adopt a Vedic civilization. In a Vedic civilization, there is a full supply of all the necessities mentioned above. So what we think, oh no, if we are going to go back to Vedic civilization means it's backward, we're going to suffer, it's going to be dirty, it's going to be, uncomfortable. But in fact, what we are reading is it's in fact more comfortable, more opulent, more peaceful, more beautiful. If with Vedic civilization, we are seeing the demigods. They don't have wrinkles. They have all these natural resources, and they don't have wrinkles. They don't have to go every few weeks to color their grays. They don't have to put Botox. They don't have to take all these supplements to fight the fatigue. There is no bad odor, so no need of those deodorants and all these things. There's no old age disease or untimely death. They are going to die. But the miseries are not there so much, greatly reduced. The climate is neither too hot nor too cold. There's no like all these global warming effects. The bodies are nice and shiny, and they're living happily without much anxiety. So Prabhupada is pointing out that if we can have a Vedic civilization, we can live like that, happily, peacefully, and at the same time cultivate spiritual knowledge. So live happily in this life and in the next life, have eternal life. Kuranga Kurara Kushumba Vaikanka Trikuta Shishi Shishira Patanga.
Kuranga Kurura Kushumba Vekanka Trikuta Shishira Patanga.
Ruchak Nishada Srinivas Kapila Shankha Vaidurya Charudi Hamsa.
Ruchika Nishada Shinivasha Kapila Shankha Vaidurya Jarudhi Hamasha.
Rishab Naga Kalanjara Naga Dadyo Vimshati Giryo Mero.
Rishabha Naga Kalanjara Naradadayo Vimishati Giriya Mero.
Karnikaya Iva Kesar Bhuta Mula Deshe Parita
Upaklaripta.
Upaklapta.
Kanir Kaya Iva Keshara Bhuta Muladeshe Parit Upaklipita.
There are other mountains beautifully arranged around the foot of Mount Meru like the filaments around the world of a lotus flower. Their names are Kuranga, Kurara, Kusumba, Vaikanka, Trikuta, Shishira, Patanga, Ruchaka, Nishadha, Sinivasa, Kapila, Shankha, Vaidurya, Jarudhi, Hamsa, Rishab, Naga, Kalanjara, and Narad. So it seems around this Mount Meru, which is really tall, there are these smaller mountains also. Just like the whirl of a lotus, there are these filaments around them. And the names of the mountains are also given. So there is quite a bit of details given as to the structure of Jambūdvīpa. I will stop here for today. Did you have any comments, questions? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.